We're gonna have some fun today. We're gonna do another guess the price on this speaker. This is a Monolith speaker. They're called the Audition B5. So we're gonna go over the speaker. I'm gonna tell you how I think it sounds, how it makes me feel, how it's built, and then I'm gonna guess the price at the end with you, real time. So, not real time, it's gonna be recorded and edited. You sit down, grab a cup of coffee, and let's find out if these Monolith Audition B5 speakers are remotely close to what I think they're worth. Today's sponsor is from Fozzy Audio. Now, I had a few reservations about taking on Fozzy Audio as a sponsor for the channel because I have reviewed many of their products in the past. Some I have been a bit critical of. One thing I will say about Fozzy Audio is that they do offer extreme value for what you're getting. Their phono preamp has been an easy recommendation for me for years, and I wouldn't have taken this sponsorship had I not already believed in most of their products. So check out Fozzy Audio on Amazon and check them out at their own website. They have amplifiers, they have phono preamps, they even have DACs. And Fozzy Audio is one of the first products that I ever reviewed on this channel, and I appreciate them sponsoring the channel now. Fozzy Audio, Amazon and online. Links in the description and the pinned comment. Size-wise, let's go over the size. Gotta turn down my music here. Probably turn it off, actually. It's not too loud. If it doesn't bother you, it doesn't bother me. All right, size-wise, this is kind of a shoebox style speaker. Very similar dimensions to the Sony SSCS5. All right, so if you can see that, it looks like the Sony is maybe well, let's get them. Maybe a ½ an inch longer. The front to back measurement is pretty much the same. Let's see about the width. Width-wise, it's also, the Sony is also bigger, but a good amount. So the Sony is wider and taller. Front to back, it's the same. So we'll just say similar. They are similar in size. All right, driver. This to me looks, now I didn't go in and look at all the specifications because if I went in and looked at all the specifications, then I would know the price. And that's the whole point of this video, is to do a review without knowing the price. And then at the end be, oh, this is a great deal, or oh, this is really overpriced. With that said, I think this is a 5 1/4 inch. Feels like paper driver. Not a huge beefy surround, but it's not a terrible surround. Here is a kind of a telltale sign of an affordable speaker, is this woofer design here. Rubber right there. So I'm sure if we peel that back, there's going to be the mounting hardware underneath. When a speaker has this design, usually it is a more affordable tier. So the XT series from Polk has woofers like this. I've seen some other ones. This to me looks like it's either a 3/4 inch or a 1 inch soft dome tweeter. However, it has a really good waveguide. And I think that maybe Monolith may have borrowed some styling cues from Buchard, maybe. But it's got a nice waveguide. Wrap on here is similar to what you're going to find on OSD, the BS41 from ELAC. It is a textured wood grain wrap. I don't see any seams coming up, which is good. On the bottom, you can see, this one's actually done pretty well. On the bottom, you can see where the seam comes together. But this one's done very, very well. So you can hardly see the seam. And then it comes with the rubber bumpies, so it doesn't scratch up your bookshelf or your stands or your console, whatever you're putting this speaker on. Fairly light. I don't know how much this weighs. I don't know. Let's see how much it weighs. 7.3 pounds. Is that good? Is it not good? I don't know. On the back, you have a port, and the port's pretty good. The flange goes in, and then it's plastic all the way in. It's plastic, then it feels like it's cardboard, and then it's plastic again. Anyway, it feels pretty decent. Binding posts here on the back seem pretty consistent with the speaker in the price category that I think this is. There's no indication of whether this is a 4 ohm, 6 ohm, 8 ohm speaker. There's no, oh, never mind. It says 4 ohms on the back. All right, so it's a 4 ohm nominal impedance speaker. I have no idea what the specs say as far as frequency response. If I had to guess, I'm pretty sure this is fairly inefficient from how it sounded. I'm glad you asked how it sounded. Let's talk about how it sounds. I forgot to mention the grills. The grills are pretty good. They are held on by that kind of lollipop thing to where it kind of pops out. So usually these aren't a bad deal. I mean, I've had some speakers that this part pops off, but for the most part, I mean, they've been doing this design for a long time. If you don't know Monolith, Monolith is from Monoprice, and they have their whole line of audio equipment. The Monolith line is their top tier or their premium line of audio equipment. So obviously, this is positioning them in the good but affordable segment. I hope this is affordable, because if it's not, that's going to be a problem. But Monolith makes all types of headphones, amplifiers, even home theater processors, I believe. So they really are trying to take a chunk out of the market share of some of the other hi-fi equipment manufacturers. The one thing I will say about Monoprice is oftentimes they're quite inspired by other people's products. Is that bad? I don't know. But if you can get a really good deal on something and you don't mind that they may have borrowed some design or even performance cues from other manufacturers, then Monolith is I guess, a great option, or an option. I also reviewed their turntable. Turntable functionally was quite good. A little rough around the edges, but that is to be expected from a company like Monolith and Monoprice. Headphones can be quite good, but you kind of have to dial them in a little bit. I just want to paint a picture that if you're dealing with Monolith, chances are some of the finer details, maybe not anything to do with performance, but some of the finer details, maybe aesthetics-wise, may not be as good as you would want it to be. Okay, with all that said, let's talk about how they sound. I have had these running in the living room, playing Fuller House duty, and SpongeBob duty, and actually watching The Last of Us on here too. The immediate thing that jumps out to me on these speakers is the amount of bottom end presence that they have. This is not a bright sounding speaker at all. If anything, it is really pushing things on the bottom end. I would say around the lower mid-range area is where these are really voiced. So they sound much bigger than they actually are. These remind me a little bit of the PSB Imagine XBs as far as their sound signature. Now that's good because the speaker sounds bigger. There is a significant lack of detail throughout the mid-range if you don't get them placed properly. And it is imperative with these speakers that you get the tweeter right on ear level or a little bit above. If you get your ear above the tweeter, it starts to fall off very quickly. So the vertical off axis of the speaker is not great. I'm not saying that's a huge deal breaker because a lot of speakers have pretty bad fall off vertically. Horizontally, these seemed pretty good because imaging is pretty good and soundstage is pretty good. But the thing that hit me over the head was just how boomy, bassy these were. And with that boom, I think you lose detail. I think there's also some box resonance going on in here, because while it's not the worst enclosure I've ever had, it's not the best enclosure I've ever had. And I believe what I think these cost, that's somewhat to be expected. Top end detail is actually fairly good if you get them placed correctly, and it doesn't seem harsh. It seems fairly natural. The irony is you need to pull these out a little bit. And when I say pull them out, I'm not talking about 5 feet, but 2 feet. You probably want 2 feet because there is so much bass information going on that I think these can get a little bit muffled. When I was on Access with these, and this is a shorter speaker too, so if you're going to put these on stands, you want to make sure that you get the right height so that you can get them at or above ear level to get all of that mid-range detail, all of that top-end detail back. Pretty wide dispersion here, so they didn't have to be talked into imaging and sound staging well. I think with this waveguide, is looking pretty good. These even kind of look like a Bucard. And they have a higher tier version, and those look a lot like the Bucard too. And these sound pretty similar to those. The problem with those, they were too expensive for what they were. I'm optimistic about these. To summarize the sound, you get a little bit extra bass, okay? And if you get them placed right, they sound actually pretty good. Some box resonance going on. Overall, pretty good. 7 out of 10 for sound. Regardless of price, 7 out of 10. Let's find out how much they cost. If you just found us, please support the channel by liking this video and subscribing. We have over 620 videos, so chances are there's something out there for everyone. DACs, turntables, amps, home theater stuff. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe. I think these are going toe-to-toe with the ELAC BS41s, maybe Sony SSCS5s. I think these are 120 a pair. 120 a pair. All right, so let's find out together. This is the Monolith Audition B5 bookshelf speaker. Monolith Audition B5 bookshelf speaker. All right, what did I say? I think they're 120. Better be. Oh, I was thinking it's 120 for the pair. These are 125 a piece. Uh-oh. All right, let me see if I got the right one. Audition bookshelf speaker. Yeah. No. I think these are overpriced. They sound good, but they're twice as expensive as I thought they should be. Maybe 200 for a pair, but one has to realize that at the $200 mark, you're competing with the B5.2 from ELAC, and that's a very good speaker. With these, you're $250. Man, you're also competing with the Yamo C93-2s. You're competing with the Polk ES15s when they're on sale. And the Polk, I think, is a better speaker, and it is finished better. Ooh, 125 a piece. Okay. Well, maybe they run some sales. No reviews. Not one review of these. I'm not saying they sound bad. I'm saying from their build perspective. Let's see what their specs are. Okay, 20 millimeter, 5.25 tweeter waveguide. Yay. 5.25 inch woofer. It was I knew it when I saw the woofer design. I knew these were obviously going to be affordable. Let's look at the frequency response. I don't disagree with this frequency response because you can tell it's 3 deep. I don't know what the smoothing is, but there is a pretty good hump going from, what is that, 200, 300, so 200, from 200 hertz up to 100 hertz, and even down all the way to 80 hertz. There's a big hump right there. So I think this is an accurate frequency response. Let's see, sensitivity. 84.3 dB. I knew it. They squished that tweeter so far down. I knew these were going to be like 80. I was hoping they'd be like 86, 87, but they're 84.3. And you know, once something is below 85, that's why they included the 0.3. So because 84.3 sounds way better than 84. Anytime you get below 85 dB on a speaker, you're going to need a little bit of juice to get the best out of these. I was running these on the SVS Soundbase Pro. They didn't really have any issue driving them, but that amp has some juice. Frequency response, 61 up to 20 hertz. It doesn't sound like it's 61 though, because there's such a hump right there at 100 hertz. Okay. You know, it's not a bad sounding speaker, but I can tell just from the weight, can tell from the enclosure design, and I can tell from the woofer design that this is a more affordable speaker. The problem is I think these should be half of what they're costing now. So right around 120, maybe 150 for a pair. And they are not. So I'm sure that they probably are better than the Yamo S series, but how much better? I don't know. No reviews on these. Okay, a little bit disappointed. I was hoping that this would be an affordable option for people because it sounds good. I also had their center speaker, kind of same deal there. Chesty a little bit with the vocals, but good. And I never felt like it was struggling. And again, if you get the tone or the directionality of the center speaker right, it sounds pretty good. I just wish they were, I'm going to keep saying it. I wish these were half of what they are. Okay. Not a terrible speaker, but I think overpriced. So, if you want to support the channel, please subscribe and like this video. I do this for a living, so thumbing up the video and subscribing means the world to me. You can also use the links in the description. Those are affiliate links, which means if you click and you buy, you do get a commission, but it doesn't cost you any more, so it's a great way to support the channel. You can sign up for Amazon Music, Tidal Music, Rune, links in the description. Even if you do a trial and you quit, I still get a couple of dollars. And you can also sign up for Patreon, patreon.com/cheapaudioman. Every Sunday night we have Patreon-only Zooms, Patreon-only Facebook, Patreon-only Discord. It's a good community. So don't binge watch anything on Netflix or Hulu. Binge listen, maybe through your new Monolith Audition B5s, and fill your soul with happiness. And with that, I'm Randy. I'm the Cheap Audio Man.